Today's guest is Ernesto Segismundo Jr., who is a licensed marriage and family therapist and founder of Filmit.com, which is FYLMIT.com, which is a videography company for mental health therapists. Ernesto received his undergrad degree in psychology from Biola University and his master's in clinical psychology from Vanguard University. He has 10 years of clinical counseling experience working in group homes, domestic violence shelters, churches, outpatient programs. He also treats individuals suffering from depression, anxiety, and addiction. He utilizes EMDR. Along with Ernesto's counseling experience, he has conducted various classes and seminars concerning relationships and mental health related topics such as parenting, substance abuse, maintaining healthy marriages. He is also an adjunct professor at Hope International University and has a private practice with offices located in Pasadena, San Pedro, Huntington Beach, and Brea, California. And he is available to provide mental health services for families, couples, and individuals. Ernesto, how's it going today?
Man, that was a mouthful, man.
You've accomplished a lot.
Jeez, yeah, just listening to you got stressed me out a little bit.
No, man, I mean, it's great. You're doing a lot of different things, a lot of different things that you're working on for supporting people as well as clinicians. I think that's amazing. So I truly appreciate your time for coming out and speaking with the audience.
Yeah, I'm really honored that you've invited me, and it's kind of mind-boggling to me how social media kind of connects everybody, made this world a little bit smaller, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I found some of your content on YouTube for where you actually conduct interviews as well, or you have conducted interviews in the past in supporting therapists in that way. So that's how I found you, connected with you, and you're like, yeah, you're willing to come on the show, and I'm grateful.
Thank you, thank you.
So just starting off, just let's dive right into it. I want to know a little bit about how you got into the mental health profession. What's been your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I graduated from Biola University, my dad, because I'm from Hawaii, I'm from a small island called Kauai in Hawaii, and I was avoiding going home. So in order for me to stay here in the mainland, I actually had to go to grad school. And I didn't really know the world of mental health until I went to grad school, which is Vanguard University. So when I went there, I also needed a job. And my dad said, if you can't find a job, you're coming back home. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to live my life in an island, right?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
So literally, I'm just going to stay here. So I started working at group home and went to Vanguard University. And I started falling in love with the world of mental health with psychotherapy. And so that's where I started my journey as a clinician, working for adolescent boys who've been in the foster care system, who's on probation, and in a group home where we, try to rehabilitate them and get them up for adoptions or get them back to the homes. So that's where my journey as a clinician started.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. And since then, you've been, as I stated in your introduction, your bio, you've been doing a lot of different things. I want to know a little bit more about Filmit and how that came about, what the impact of video marketing did for your own practice. If you can share that, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe it was 2013 or 2012, somewhere around there, I attended a real estate agent conference. And it was just two clinicians. It was me and my supervisor at that time, among a sea of real estate agents. And they were utilizing video marketing. And videos at that time was very popular within the real estate agents world, right? And so we went there just trying to figure out how this could apply to the mental health world. And I was floored with what I learned. And I noticed, so I did a parenting video within that weekend, and it was really grainy. It was, off of a camera called a Kodak camera. It was grainy. The editing was horrible. But from that one video, when I posted it on YouTube, my church, my friends, my family started sharing it. And that's how I started getting a lot of clients from that one video. And so I thought to myself, why in the world are mental health professionals not doing this? And the reason why is that mental health professionals, we are within guidelines, right? We have legal and ethics that we have to consider when we're advertising. And so social media freaks the crap out of the mental health world.
Sure.
And at this time, it was already coming to fruition how social media and video marketing were going to be a pivotal platform to communicate to a larger audience. And so I started preaching this idea that, hey, we need to step outside of our comfort zone, what we've learned about marketing at that time, and utilize video and social media marketing. So when I first posted my parenting video, my caseload at that time was around 10, 10, about 10, 11 clients a week, and it shot up to about 28 clients a week within 2 months
Wow.
because it was getting shared and because video was so popular during that time. And then, a lot of the people in the mental health, the more I started talking about social media marketing and how it could help you with your practice and also help the community to know who you are, to see you, because, when clients come into session, they're very much attracted to your years of experience, the certificates that's hanging on your walls. They're very attracted to that. But what makes them stay in counseling is the person of the therapist. It's how the therapist makes you feel, how you experience a therapist. And videos takes the engagement up to 100 notch, right? When they watch a video, they go, wow, I get a sense for your personality. I get a sense for who you are. I think I want to pick up the phone and call you and schedule an appointment. So that's the power of video marketing within the world of mental health.
Wow, it's amazing. From what 10 to 28 within 2 months. That's incredible, and that's just from putting a video out there. And so I'm sure there's a lot of people listening out there that are like, oh, Ernesto's probably good on camera. He's probably been doing it for years, but it sounds like it was something that you did in the beginning. It was something new to you, also.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, the name of the game is authenticity, being yourself, being authentic on camera, and also practice. I mean, a lot of people that watch me now on camera and on video and some of the video blogs, you go, wow, you look flawless. But there's power of editing, right?
Uh-huh.
If you don't like something, you can edit it or you can actually just delete it. But I practice a lot. So I'm becoming very much comfortable being in front of the camera. And unfortunately, the world of mental health, and when you go to grad school, they don't teach you about marketing. They only teach you about clinical practice, right? Which is appropriate within the world. But a lot of clinicians are going into private practice, having their own business, doing other things other than the mental health. So within filmit.com, what I do is not only encourage or create promotional videos for therapists, but I also help inspire other therapists to step outside of their comfort zone and do other creative marketing on social media and video like this.
How about the balance between disclosing too much on social media, on videos, and but being able to show your authenticity and who you are as a clinician? So how do you balance that out?
Yeah, so number one thing that I tell a lot of clinicians who are venturing into the video marketing world is look at it from a one-way mirror where people are watching you on YouTube, but you don't engage. I always tell therapists that you do not take the therapeutic relationship outside of the therapeutic setting. What that means is that if you are on video, if you're on YouTube doing live video chat, video feeds, all those things, you do not engage with your potential clients, therapy clients, or your current clients, because we can't control where our current clients are following us. So if you engage with them on social media and you say, yeah, here's my client on social media, you're already breaking the boundary. You're already creating an unethical and actually legal issue and ramification for yourself. So those are some of the things. Now, when I talk about authenticity and disclosing who you are, I'm talking about the personality, how I sound, how I look, all of those things. Instead of self-disclosing all of my stuff out there, right? But it's basically the engagement, how I am and how you experience me.
That's great. That's great. And so, what are maybe a few tips that you would give to a clinician, a therapist listening out there that wants to maybe start filming their own video? Maybe what equipment they should start with, how they should start practicing, what they should say. Just any of the, I guess, a few tips that you would give them out there.
Yeah, I always tell people that I would love to do your promotional video professionally done, But at the same time, as that comes out of my mouth, I always tell people that you're actually holding in your hands the technology that you need to grow your practice, which is your cell phone. We've got cell phones nowadays that have high power cameras on them, and it picks up incredible audio, right? The iPhone 7 right now is just blowing everybody away with the visuals and the technology and the software that's in a little handheld phone, right? So what I tell people is just be creative. Get a mini tripod that will hold your camera, right, like this, and have it. I know a lot of listeners are not hearing this, but put your place your cell phone on a tripod and just make sure that it's landscape, and just continue to talk and talk about your practice and what you do, simple things like that. You can even do a tour of your office. Like if you notice, my office is right here, and I wanted to give the public a behind the scenes look of what my office looks like. I can just go, hey, hi everybody, my name is Ernesto, licensed marriage and family therapist, and I just want to give you a quick tour about where my therapeutic setting is, where I see my clients. And you point to all these areas in your office that's meaningful to you. And people love that. They go, oh my gosh, that's a nice office. I want to go there. Let me sit down and schedule an appointment with you. And that has actually happened to me. So that's the power of video. So that's one thing. And also just talking a lot about how-tos. Like, for instance, if you want to teach someone how to relax, do breathing exercises, things like that. When you're doing videos on depression, I highly recommend that for any therapist who do any type of videos on depression, mental health, that their call to action is further resources for the community. So, for instance, if I did a suicide prevention video, my call to action is, if you are feeling worthless, hopeless, and you need further support, here is a suicide prevention lifeline, or suicide lifeline, right? So you give that phone number out. So it covers you, you're doing something ethical, and you're also helping the community and the viewers further resources that they can have for themselves.
Great, yeah. So don't go and buy the $600 camera starting out if you want to do it yourself. Obviously, you provide services for therapists if they want to deal with that, and I'm sure you coach them through the way. But
Right.
I think a lot of people out there are like, oh, I have to go buy the expensive equipment. But no, you just start with your cell phone. Maybe it's an iPhone, maybe it's an Android, and you can just
Yeah.
landscape mode as well, right? So horizontally, not vertically.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. And you don't have to spend money on heavy duty mic equipment as well, audio equipment. I mean, the iPhone 7 and Androids pick up incredible sound. So, just start small. And this is a really good way for you to practice as well, getting in front of a camera, right?
How about the emotional part of it? Because that's great. You have your cell phone, but I don't want to put myself out there. I'm feeling, maybe I'm a therapist that's feeling just shy, self-conscious, all that. So what tips would you give to someone listening with the emotional side of it?
Yeah, this is something that I've been working on a lot with therapists, because when you point a camera to someone who's never been on camera or who's very shy and don't like the way that they look, a lot of emotional experience, psychological experience come up of insecurity, the imposter syndrome, all of those things. So I would say just take that leap and continue to do it, and just be mindful of all the mind trash that you're telling yourself, right? And just make peace with yourself at that point. Try your best to even talk to other colleagues about it before you post your video. Maybe show it to a friend and help that, allow them to help you process some of those things that goes on, because it is a psychological process. And the reason why video marketing is not too popular within the mental health world is because not only just a legal and ethical aspect, but it brings up a lot of stuff within us, a lot of insecurity, and that's okay. That's okay.
Got it. If we could switch gears a little bit, because sounds like you have grown a practice where now you're supervising people, so you've taken your practice to the next level. You are now supervising people, and I know there's people listening out there too. Like, how did you do that? And it sounds like there was video marketing. You focus on the business side of growing your practice.
Right.
But walk us through a little bit of how you made the transition from, I guess, a solo practitioner and clinician to supervising people and starting, having different offices.
Yeah.
Expanding.
For the past few months, I actually am starting to understand that I was born with an entrepreneurial mindset because I
Absolutely.
grew up with, I come from a Filipino home where business is something that, you do. It's you work hard and all those things. So the name of the game for my life is multiple streams of income, right? That's the business aspect. I did not know that after graduating from my master's degree, there was all these things that therapists could do, and an entrepreneurial mindset, a combination of that, can really, really take off. So my goal was, when I started filmit.com, I started experiencing the uptake and the popularity of promotional videos. I started getting pulled from here and there to do promotional videos. At some point during my journey, I was like, there's no way I can do this, right? I want to do a practice or my private practice. And I also want to do videos and consulting with other mental health professionals at the same time. But I couldn't do that seeing 28 clients a week. So what I did was then I shifted to group practice, where I hired, a few therapists at that time. Right now I've got 5 clinicians working for me under California Alta Vista. And so I created that model where I can work less as a clinician. I still want to have my hand and my foot in the clinical world, right, the pulse of the clinical world, but at the same time have this group practice that is still sustaining, that I'm doing good for the community, right, and also allows me to travel and not carry so much on my caseload. So that was my thinking of doing multiple streams of income. Now I'm also doing consulting for other mental health professionals on how to utilize their personal brand as a therapist on social media. So that's my niche right there.
Amazing.
You alluded to being a professor at a university. Yes, I'm also a professor at Hope International University. And the reason why I love doing that, and I'm doing multiple things, is because that's the next generation of clinicians that I want to give back. Because unfortunately, the mental health world, they're really, there's a need for them, and we need to talk about mental health. And so when I teach, it gets me sharpened on the clinical aspect, at the same time teaching the next generation. So all these multifacets, how I got there, is basically, one, my heart and soul for the community, and to give back to the next generation of clinicians.
That's great, because I know that a lot of people, a lot of clinicians and therapists, they feel almost guilty or just uncomfortable focusing on the entrepreneurial side. But I love how you're combining your passion and the reason why you're doing this with having multiple streams of income and giving back through your teaching, and then I'm sure
Yeah,
through your leading your clinicians that are working in your group practice also, and all that.
yeah,
So it's yes, embracing the entrepreneurial is necessary, because you do have to, if you want to be in private practice, you have to
right.
have a certain aspect of learning the business side of it. But it's not just about, hey, just let me just have multiple streams of income. It's what's the reason beneath it. People need you out there. People need your clinicians out there, and your knowledge and your wisdom, so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you definitely nailed it, where a lot of clinicians are in the process of merging their entrepreneurial spirit and who they want to be as a business person, at the same time merging their passion as a clinician to provide these services for the community. And I'm telling you, the world of mental health now, they're venturing off to so many things out there. And it's a great time to be a business owner. It's a great time to be an entrepreneur. And it's a great time to be a marketer and a clinician all in one.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah, the world is set up with social media and technology. It's very low cost barrier entry into expanding your practice, and think about the entrepreneurial side. and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Ernesto. And another thing is, so now you are doing a lot of traveling. So you have clinicians that you're supervising that are helping the community there that way. And I do see that you're doing a lot of workshops and speaking. You're going to actually be in Northern California pretty soon, right? In a couple of
I
months.
will
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I will be. The California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, they're having a conference May 4th through the 7th. So I'm going to be talking extensively for 6 hours about video and social media, specifically for mental health professionals, the legal and ethics of it, and bringing my equipment and just letting people know that this, or clinicians know that this is available for you.
Mhm.
It's out there.
Absolutely. And so this is it's February. We're recording this on February 2017. He'll be speaking May 2017. So if you're listening to this after 2017, obviously don't show up there, and no one's going to be there.
Yes.
So, but
Right,
if you
right.
before that, he'll be there in May in the East Bay. And so the transition into speaking, doing workshops, that's another facet of your business now. So how is that transition now for any clinicians listening that may want to take that leap?
Yeah, um, the first time I did a speaking engagement, I was absolutely terrified. And I knew that if I were to grow my business, if I were to get my name out there, I had to be in front of people. And so what you're seeing right now wasn't me years ago. Okay. I mean, I really had to practice and get out there. So my speaking engagements now is specifically for mental health professionals to do these video and social media marketing. But I've also have been invited to and have a few speaking engagement gigs within the world of mental health. So, for instance, I conduct speaking engagements on note taking for therapists, how to handle couples counseling. I also do talks on parenting and all those things. So when you're starting off as a young clinician, you got to get out there. And it's also part of our ethics where we provide some of these resources to our community. So that's one of the reasons why I did a lot of speaking engagements. And next thing you know, I started getting gigs, more gigs, in appearing and doing these talks. So, the name of the game here is if you have a practice and you want to get your name out there, some of the powerful referral sources come from when you go to a speaking engagement, provide content, valuable content to the community, and they keep pumping clients to you. And that's how I've been able to grow my practice, aside from the video and social media marketing piece.
So it's a myth that great public speakers are born, because there's people out there maybe that are like, oh, I'll never be good at public speaking. I don't have natural talent. But from the sound of it, is just you just kept doing it and you just kept practicing, going a little bit beyond your comfort zone, stretching yourself
Yeah.
a little bit, and then now it sounds like it's something that's pretty natural to you.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I did a speaking engagement, I was in the Philippines. I was doing a speaking engagement about relationships, and it was in front of 100 or so pastors and lay counselors in the church. And 10 minutes into it, I just got in my head. I froze. It was embarrassing, and I had about an hour and a half worth of speaking. And so 10 minutes was horrible, to the degree where another pastor had to come up and take over because I was out of control. It was really bad. I had a choice from then on to either stop the speaking engagement and freeze and be a prisoner to my own fear about getting in front of people to speak, or show up again and do it again. So the next day I did another speaking engagement with the same audience, and it was flawless.
Mm.
Right. So I went through. So absolutely, for those of you who are listening who are fearful about getting in front of a camera or getting in front of people to do a workshop or a seminar, don't be, because you got to bulldoze through your fear.
Absolutely, yeah. And some of those failures are our best teachers, right? Let your mistakes be your teacher, not your undertaker. I love that quote. I don't know
Wow.
who quite said that. It was another anonymous quote, but it's one of my
Why don't you
favorites.
claim it?
Should I claim it?
Yeah, right,
You've heard
right,
it here.
right.
That's great. And so, since you're helping people with their social media, what are maybe what's a takeaway, one takeaway that you want to give a therapist that wants to make the leap into social media, well, what platform or any tip that you have for them?
Yeah, the number one thing is really listening to yourself, really understanding who yourself as a clinician. One of the things that I do uh, when I consult with clinicians, when they ask me these questions, right, is know yourself. Because once you start knowing yourself as a clinician or yourself as the context of your business, then you become a little bit more authentic, right? Don't be somebody that you're not. It takes time to do that. Whatever you post on social media is part of your brand. I tell people this all the time. Be mindful about what you post on social media because it will give an impression out to people. And people are not stupid. They go to people who don't give them a lot of stress, when they're posting stuff on social media, right? So be mindful about what you post on social media because it will follow you throughout time. And first impression is huge. And in fact, if you have a good impression currently with your followers and you do something that is just like outside of your character, it's going to confuse people. So be mindful about your personal brand, your authentic self, and be mindful about what you post on social media. So that's one.
Awesome, great tip. Appreciate that. And so, Ernesto, I appreciate all the knowledge and wisdom, a little bit of your journey. This has been very inspirational. I'm sure the listeners are getting a lot out of it. What's the best way that the listener can reach out to you? What's the best resource to find you online?
Sure. If any of you guys are wanting to do consulting or doing social media consulting, anything like that with me, or even creating your promotional video, if you're a therapist, you can always visit my website at filmit.com. And right there, there's a contact information. If you are a therapist and you're really wanting to do a video, connect your website. One of the things that I do is I study your profession, what you do, your expertise before I call you. So by the time we get on the phone, I already know how to record you. I already know how to edit your video piece. So yeah, just get to my website and that's where you'll know a little bit more about me.
Great. So that's filmit, FYLMIT.com. And you can connect with Ernesto that way.
Correct. Thank you.
Ernesto, thank you so much. Appreciate it again. Thanks for your time, your knowledge, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much for what you do for the social media community here, and I wish you all the best, sir.
Thank you, Ernesto.